Well, hey, thanks for joining us for another edition of Money TV. I'm Donald Baillargeon. So glad you could be with us. Of course, Money TV is the program all about money and what makes it happen. Now, with all the talk about discretionary spending in Washington and President Obama hammering that Washington has to tighten its belt and cut back, well, maybe it's time for him to take a look in the mirror. The president spent a lot of time during his 18 or so months in office aboard Air Force One. The man's made a lot of speeches in a lot of locations. Case in point, it's pointed out this week in an article in the Los Angeles Times. Now, mind you, if the LA Times is calling you out and you're a Democrat, you should be concerned, very concerned. Now, the Times article recounted that several days ago, President Obama flew in Air Force One from Washington all the way out to Columbus, Ohio and back. The trip takes about 2 hours each way, and the president does not have to take off his shoes to go through security. He was on the ground in Ohio for a little more than an hour, giving a quick speech about his version of the economic recovery. The speech wasn't long. After all, he had tickets to an evening White Sox baseball game back in Washington. Now, part of his time in Ohio was spent speaking in the middle of a closed street. It was an arranged presidential photo op designed to highlight construction jobs allegedly created by the $787 billion stimulus spending bill he signed early in 2009. There was a construction site next door, and the workers were told to stay away from work that day for the president's visit. Their reward for their patriotism was an involuntary unpaid day off because of the president's appearance. Now, Ohio's unemployment rate is nearly 11%. The cost of flying Air Force One is about $100,000 per hour. Then you have the other planes following it, which are carrying Secret Service. There are vehicles, there's Marine One, and all of this stuff going on. Some estimates have the president's quick drop into Ohio to make his speech costing American taxpayers somewhere around $1 million, or about $100,000 per minute of speaking time. Now, that's just one example. Early in his administration, the president flew from Washington, D.C. to Denver, spewing massive carbon deposits in his wake, to sign that economic stimulus bill and then give a speech touting all the green jobs it would create. He flies to Copenhagen to lobby Chicago for the Olympics and doesn't get it. He flies to various cities like New Jersey and Boston to campaign for candidates who end up losing, flies to the Gulf to look at the oil spill, gives a speech, then back up to Chicago to catch another baseball game. I can remember during the energy crisis of the late 1970s, then President Carter told America that the thermostat in the White House was being turned down to 65 degrees and that he would put on a sweater. It was a good example on his part. Mr. President, how about we park Air Force One for a bit and watch baseball games on TV, like the rest of us? Now, the rest of us can take advantage of this toll-free number, 888-259-4449. That number is good from anywhere in the world you're watching the program. When you do call, be sure and ask to be added to the subscription list of our Money TV newsletter. It's a free publication. Again, 888-259-4449. You can visit us at MoneyTV.net. You can text us, MoneyTV, to 46800 or GO800. And we'd love to have you follow us at Facebook and Twitter.